Alright, so basically to get the wire into the vehicle, we're going to go through the factory grommet, which is right here on the left side, and we're going to stick a hanger right through the top part of the grommet away from the factory wire.
Alright, so we have our hanger, we have our wire, we're going to tape the wire to the hanger. Now when you do this, you're going to tape the hanger and then tape the wire to the hanger.
Alright, so now that we've got our wire coming in from the trunk to the engine bay, we're going to take some split loom and we're going to loom the wire. Reason behind looming the wire is in case the wire gets any components that release heat. You don't want your wire touching that and melting, possibly frying something. So we're just going to go ahead and protect the wire with this and put some tape along the split loom to keep it secure onto the wire. Alright, so now we've got our wire split loomed and we've got it taped about 6 to 8 inches just to make sure that the loom doesn't come off the wire. Now when you hook it up to the battery, you never want to hook the wire directly to the battery without it being properly fused. Each relay is pulling about 15 amps, so we've got a 30 amp fuse that's going to be connected to the battery. We're going to go ahead and attach this to our wire that we ran and tape it up, and then we will run it across, zip tying it to any factory wires that we see and making it look as factory as possible. Now we've got it all split loomed up to our ring terminal here, which will be attached to the battery. Another thing you probably want to do, if you've got a fuse holder like this, just put a piece of tape over it just to make sure it stays nice and secure and away from any heat or metal.
Alright, so just to take off this little red positive cover, just pretty much grab it on the inside, lift up, the whole thing comes off. Alright, so now we have this, we're going to attach it, take this nut off, it's a 10 millimeter, go ahead and take it off. Now, you have to make sure everything else is connected before you go doing this. You don't want to see any sparks. There you go. It's connected. You want to make sure when you're doing this, you don't hit ground. This right here, you don't hit this battery cover, you don't hit anything else. That will short your battery. Alright, so now we have our wire here. We're going to want to put our cover on. Normally I just try to bend the ring terminal down to get this cover on. Let's see if it works here. And hey, it worked.
Alright, so now we're going to test to figure out which wire we need for our reverse wire. We've got our multimeter here. As you can see, it's reading 0 volts right now, and we've got our prong on the red wire. We're going to test this wire to see if it's our reverse wire. So now it went from 0 to 12 volts, and that is the wire that we need, and that's the wire that we're going to be tapping into.
So today we're going to be wiring up the HID ballast to the 451M relay. we are going to be using only one part of this relay. This relay is actually 2 relays built into one. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut off the plug. We're not going to use the blue wires. So you're going to take the green wire, wire that up to the red wire. And when you wire these, you want to make sure they don't come apart. So you're going to twist over top. And then twist the other one over top. Now these wires will not come apart. So now we're in the back of the car. We're going to wire up the rest of this relay to the inside of the trunk. So here, since we cut off the blue wire before, we're not going to use the blue wire on the little wires. Cut that off. So we're going to use the red thin wire, goes to our ground wire. This wire is going to be the one side of the relay input. So the relay is just a magnetic switch. It's a switch that gets turned on by electronic signals. So when it gets the positive and negative, it'll flick the switch on with a magnet that moves, and it connects the 2 wires together. So pretty much this is a high-powered switch. And the reason why we're doing this is because if you go just hooking up directly to this wire like a headlight HID, you will blow the fuse. And even if you keep replacing the fuses to a bigger one, you might fry the wires. So that's why you don't do that. So this is a safety feature just to make sure you don't blow up your vehicle. So as you see, these wires are now on there, and we're going to tape them up. Alright, so the next wire we got to hook up is the thick purple black wire. So here's the power wire we ran to the back of the car.
Alright, so now that we've got all our wires hooked up from the relay, we're going to go ahead and make sure that it's properly working. I'm going to have my partner go ahead and pop the car into reverse, and you should actually hear the relay clicking. I don't know if you can hear that through the video or not, but that's the relay itself clicking on and off, switching it. So we do know that the relay is hooked up correctly and it is working. Alright, and here's our final product. We got both the lights in, and here are HID reverse.